Across the country, police are risking losing all of the goodwill and good faith of regular people defending them when these leftist extremists come out and say, defund the police, abolish the police, and all cops are bad. You see, I think police don't get enough credit for the most part. And what I mean by that is we don't put out videos when cops do a good job. Sometimes you'll see a viral video where a cop is playing basketball with the kids and high-fiving them. But for the most part, those don't go viral as much as, say, a cop beating someone. Police brutality makes people feel angry. They demand justice. And these videos go viral, and then everyone hates the cops. You then see the police in New York City putting on a big press conference saying 375 million interactions, overwhelmingly positive. And no one talks about it, but now you're stripping our budgets. Okay, I'll defend the police only so far. Because I've absolutely talked about problems like this. Idaho man arrested for not wearing mask at outdoor worship service. Unbelievable. He told Laura Ingraham the Moscow, Idaho coronavirus order is tyrannical. And then we have this story from NBC News. Coronavirus violations get Maryland man sentenced to year in jail. Sean Marshall Myers, 42, had 2 parties at his home in March that each had at least 50 people in attendance. Two parties at his own home, jail for a year. So who are these cops who will walk onto someone's property and arrest them for having a gathering on their own property? A violation of the First Amendment that Congress shall make no law establishing. Yeah, you get the point. Who are these cops that will ignore their oath to the Constitution, assuming they've taken one? They'll arrest worshipers who are outside. What about that cop in Ohio who apparently arrested a woman who was sitting outside with her family, socially distanced, and wasn't wearing a mask? Do you have to wear a mask when you're outside and socially distanced? That to me is absurd, especially when you consider all the protests. So let me point something out to you, and then I'll read this. You mean to tell me that the cops will not arrest Black Lives Matter for not socially distancing? They'll stay back. They'll stand down, but they'll arrest people singing songs outside. And you want me to come and defend you? Mark my words, police. If you keep enforcing an imbalanced system this way, where the rioters can destroy everything and the rest of us are suppressed by you, don't be surprised when it flips around. You see, in Milwaukee, Black Lives Matter protesters with signs went to a man's house, shining lights, harassing him. And the cops arrested him when he pulled out his gun. Why should I assume you'll be there for me when all this is going down? Now, I get it. Not all cops are bad, but we're seeing too much of this and too much too quick. The Black Lives Matter activists will call the police and they will laugh and cheer when the cops do what they want. I wouldn't be surprised if they call for defunding the police, create their community policing, and then regular Americans who are sick of watching innocent people get arrested say, you know what? Defund them. Get rid of them. We're done. The fastest way to defund the police is exactly this. And I wonder if that's the point. And these cops don't realize it. You know, I've often talked about in certain circumstances why this happens. And you know, within reason, I understand. I do. I don't like it. But think about it. A cop is told, you've got violent rioters throwing bricks. Now they're shooting at cops. And we want you to go out and deal with that. They're going to be like, no way. I'm going to stay back. I'm not going to get involved. In New York City, during some of the widespread rioting, people were complaining that cops weren't stopping the rioters. And many people said it was because the rioters and the Democrats have been insulting and attacking the cops. The cops are like, I'm not going to do anything about it. But it's so easy for a cop to be like, well, you know, Bill de Blasio painted the street, so I better protect it. When you get a woman like Bevelyn Beatty, she came out and she threw paint on the ground. They arrested her. And people were saying like, oh, I feel bad for these cops having to arrest their own supporter. I don't. The cop chose to do it. Dude, you know what, man? I don't support it. I don't. I will absolutely criticize all of this and say the police are running the risk of getting me to say, you know what, defund them, get rid of them. You want to come to my neighborhood where they arrested some gym owners? And you think I'm going to keep supporting you if you keep doing this? I'm not, and I don't care. And you know what's funny? People seem to think they can come to me and they can say, Tim, if you don't agree with my opinion, I don't agree with everyone's opinions. I don't stand for authoritarianism, and I'm not going to stand. Listen, if a cop kills somebody, all right, and we can prove it, that it was intentional, lock him up. Absolutely. Fire him, strip him, lock him up. Strip him of his pay and pension, stuff like that. Take all that stuff away. If a cop wants to defend Bill de Blasio's illegal Black Lives Matter painting, I say fire him on the spot. It is a violation of the law, of our Constitution, what he's doing. He was stealing taxpayer money for his political slogan, and cops protected him. My support only goes so far. I'm reasonable. I try to be. I understand cops have been there for me on several occasions. And I'm not going to blame the cops when I get pulled over and, there's an infraction, a headlight's out or something. It's like, well, these things happen. I'm not going to blame the cops when they're honestly trying to do their jobs to keep the peace and maintain order. But I'll blame them when they ignore the law, ignore the Constitution, and things like this. Shocking and offensive, I will say. I can already hear the left saying, but you don't care when they kill people, Tim. Of course I do. Lock them up. Throw away the key. I don't believe in the death penalty. Look, if a cop comes out and he kills somebody and it was intentional, or even reckless, charge him. Cop in the Breonna Taylor case got reckless and wanton endangerment because he was firing blindly. All right, well, what am I supposed to say about that? The cops who returned fire got no charges. I get it. That was a tragedy. The dude, Breonna Taylor's boyfriend, was someone barged in his house, and so he fired first. The cops returned fire. I get it, man. These are tragic instances that sometimes they happen. Let me show you the story. A man who was arrested for singing maskless in an outdoor worship service in Moscow, Idaho, called the incident unbelievable. Gabriel Wrench, a Latah County Commission candidate, was one of 3 people arrested Wednesday at a psalm sing attempted by some 150 people in the Moscow City Hall parking lot. The charge? Violating a coronavirus order, according to the local news. I did not think I was going to be arrested. I did not think I was going to be cited, Wrench said, adding that his church had been organizing the psalm sings throughout the shutdown. We just started singing the songs, and they come up to me and my mom first. And then the guy standing next to me was my friend. And I put my arm around him and said, this is my friend, and that's why they proceeded to arrest me. Laura Ingram asked if it was Moscow, Russia, or Moscow, Idaho, as protesters are given free reign over city and suburban streets. I don't even recognize this country, she said. The Idaho arrest came as a woman at a grade school football game in Logan, Ohio, was tased and arrested Wednesday by police for not wearing a mask in the stands. It's unbelievable. The juxtaposition of rioters being able to go out to the streets. Maybe if I had a gun or a Molotov cocktail, I would have been fine, Wrench said. Wrench, who pointed out his county had not had a single coronavirus death or hospitalization, with 392 confirmed cases, called the COVID-19 resolution petty and tyrannical. According to the resolution, anyone who violates the order is subject to a misdemeanor charge, which carries a maximum punishment of 6 months in jail and a $1,000 fine. Wrench also claimed the mayor attended a religious ceremony on September 5th and did not wear a mask or practice a social distance, and also attended a private party of about 50 people 3 days before with no masks or social distancing. Tyranny is stupid and tyranny requires force. So what happens is, once you kind of put your foot in it, your pride and arrogance is starting to drive the rest of the edict, he said. So now when we test that tyranny, when we come up and test that tyranny, it pushes them to actually bring force to the issue. And that's why they arrested me. The cops did not want to arrest me. I don't care what the cops wanted to do. I care about what they did. I'm not going to listen. If a guy robs a bank and shoots someone, am I going to be like, well, he really didn't want to shoot someone. He was just robbing the bank. No. I understand the cops weren't breaking the law by showing up, but I don't care if the cops wanted to arrest him. They committed a crime as far as I'm concerned, because there is no constitutional basis for arresting a guy outside singing a song. Okay, maybe it's not a crime because violating the Constitution isn't criminal as far as I understand, but what their word is garbage as far as I'm concerned. If you don't care about the rights of people, and if you don't care about being reasonable to the individual, then I'm not interested in supporting you. Will I come out and say all cops are bad? No. But I've seen too much of this. And you got me close saying, you know what? How about this department? We abolish it. Straight up. Why not? Do the people of Moscow, Idaho need cops to be showing up to their worship service and arresting them? What a waste of our time. What a violation of our rights. Now, they're not going around shooting people or anything like that, but still. If people, look, like I said, if we can clearly see you violate the law, then so be it, punishment. I've talked about it before when I was in New York, and they falsely arrested a photographer, and my live stream evidence exonerated that photographer. And there was no accountability for the officer who lied under oath. You want to be everything they claim you are, officer? You want to be what the left said you were? By all means, go ahead and do it. And then see how long it takes for all of these constitutionalists and conservatives to say, you know what, fire them all. I don't think you're going to see conservatives say abolish the police, but I'm certain you'll see them say arrest the officers, fire them, strip them of their pensions, things like that. You want to violate your oath to the Constitution and suppress people's rights? Then don't be surprised when they show up to your house protesting. It's already starting to happen in the UK. People are clashing with cops. These cops think that there's no line that can be crossed. There is. When people go around smashing stores and burning things down, we expect you to stop them. When people are standing in a parking lot singing, we expect you to smile and wave. They're outside. But we also have the guy hosting a party getting a year in jail, sentenced to a year in jail for throwing parties. Goodwill only goes so far. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up in a few minutes, and I will see you all shortly.